So what I want to do now is an orbit. I can go down to the shots options. Remember that the letter, if I click on the screen and then give a T, T is going to toggle it on and off. And if I go down to the create button and say give me a cinematic effect that is an orbit, up comes the dialogue. Now what I'm thinking is that we should call this, not very original, let's call it orbit. I want to transition by animating from whatever the last shot was, and I'm probably going to ask for a little bit more time to do that transition, maybe 5 seconds. And I'm going to use the default here, which is the cinematic 1 keyframe plus a path. The path is like a circular path around the middle or my pivot point. So if I preview this at the moment, you'll see what I've got is 30 seconds moving to the left. Let me just change it to where I move to the right. But you'll see what I get. I'm not going to move up or down. I'm locking the camera. If I preview, it's going to turn around the pivot point of my model and go 360 degrees. And so this would be my walkthrough of walk around of my building. So just to try and kind of make it a little bit clearer what this first part is actually doing, is that if I'll wait till the preview is finished. If I go back to here, I'm going to click on the screen and then I'm just going to drag to pivot. I'm going to ask, let me say I wanted that to be the beginning point of the orbit. Then what I can do is come over here and say, really, I want you to have that 5 seconds to move from wherever you ended up in the previous shot before you begin the start here on this shot called orbit. I hope that makes some sense. So if I say reset start there, I'm saying I want to start my orbit here and I'm going to give you 5 seconds to move to this location. So now if I hit the preview for this, I'm actually kind of orbiting around more where I wanted to be, with the focal point being where the pivot was in the middle of the garden room. Okay, so I'm going to close this, close the dialog box here. And let me just go back to establish. So we had M for material, we had E for environment. That's how I can choose the different backgrounds for here. Just to show you, if I clicked on daylight, like that, see I can change. A dry lake might look a bit more impressive. So what it's doing is it's taking the immersive environment from outside the scene and it's bringing them in as options that are now in the scene, and I can choose which one I want. I'm going to go back to the grass file and I'm going to remove the ones that I don't need. Delete from scene, and I'll leave empty because I'm probably going to use that later on. But get the idea that you have materials that you can bring into your scene and you have environments that you can bring into your scene. The A is something I'll deal with later on. I'm going to finish with shots at the moment, but just so you know the interface. The A is alternative, so I could make alternative materials or alternative model options in my project. The T was the shots. And the U that I want to show you now is actually putting it all together for a quick animation. So if I say T and U, Up here under Storyboard, what I'm going to do is create a storyboard slide, and I've now got a way of combining shots to make my movie into the storyboard. I don't know quite how you get from the fast key U to be storyboard, but that's what the fast key is. So if I go down to where I said establish, I can right click and say add to the current storyboard, and then go to the garden room, add to the storyboard, then go to the orbit, add to the current storyboard, and let's say we wanted to finish on the establish shot again. I could also say, oops, I've got it there already. So what I want to do now is, I'm looking at this, I'm going to rename the slide. So I'll pick that and say rename and call it first slide. So that you see here that this is, I can collapse and expand on the slides, and the slides are the collections of shots. And then if I want to, I can say play the slide from the start to see, okay, I got my establishing shot, and then it's going to go to the garden room because that's the next shot that I'd created. It's then going to transition by animating to the beginning of the orbit, and then it's going to do the 360 turnaround of my model to show me the whole building. Okay, and this is the scene that I created here. So why don't I take that? I haven't done anything with lights yet. I haven't done anything with alternative materials. I'm just showing how easy it is to make a quick movie. So having created this sequence, what I'm going to do is say File and Save, and I'm going to put it in my Showcase Samples directory, and I'm going to call this First Movie. Oops, first. Save. Okay, now if I actually want to make a movie so that I can play it back and just show the whole thing instead of doing it interactively, I could right click on here and say save the slide as a movie, and I can choose the sizes. I'm going to say 1280 by 720, which is a good size for the YouTube movies. And then down here I can choose the format, just for a change. I'm going to say make it an MOV file and save movie, and what it does is, where am I going to save it? I'll call it a First Movie, and I'm putting it under the samples. Let me make a folder. So my M key is programmed for something else. I need to make it lowercase. First Movie, save, and it starts to save it out. It runs through the whole thing, saving it out to my outside file. I'll let it finish. You don't have to sit and watch it. It'll be the same process no matter what format you want to save out from Showcase.